Today we are going to study about the different kind of gear trains. We had already discussed in our previous lectures the nomenclatures and terminology of the gears. Right? There are different types of gears like a spur gear, worm gear, helical gear and bevel gear. And also we had already studied about different kind of terminology like a pressure angle. Also, we had already studied about the module, addendum, redundum, pitch circle diameter, right? These different kind of terminology we had already studied. Now we are going to study about the gear train. So in the gear train, more than two gears are used or more than two gears are meshed with each other to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft, right? So sometimes two or more gears are made to mesh with each other to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft. Such a combination is called as the gear train, or it's called as a train of tooth wheel. Now there are different types of the gear train like a simple gear train, compound gear train, reverted gear train and elliptical gear train. As per application needed and as per the use of transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft, we are going to use the different kind of gear trains, right? In the gear trains there are drive gears and pinions are used. There are driven gears and driver gear. The gear which is directly connected to the motors and the gears which is run directly by the motor or external power is called as the driver gear, and the gear which is runs with the help of a driver gear is called as the driven gear, or you can say it's a pinion, right? So in the simple gear train there are more than two gears are meshed directly. More than two gears are connected or mesh directly on this shaft which are parallel, or the shafts, or you can say the axis of the different shafts are coincide, right? So first we have studied the simple gear train. In the simple gear train, as shown in this figure, all the gear trains, first is the gear, right? Next is a gear train in which the three gears are used. In for a third gear train there are four gears are used. So all the gear train, the axis of shaft, the axis of shafts on which the gears mounted is coincide, right? So where there is only one gear on each shaft, then it is known as a simple gear train, right? Now see, the driver gear and driven gear both are meshed with each other, right? Now what we have to study for the gear train? So first the diameter ratio, and also we had studied the speed ratio. Suppose the diameter of the driver gear is a D1 and the diameter of the driven gear is the D2. Now the number of teeth on the driver gear is T1 and number of teeth on the driven gear is T2, and the revolutionary speed of the driver gear is the N1 and revolutionary speed on the driven gear is N2. Then how it will be interconnected with each other, then you can see that, or you can write that the ratio of the diameter, the ratio of the diameter of a driver gear to the driven gear is inversely proportional to its revolutionary speed. Or you can say that if the ratio of diameter d1 by d2 is equal to n2 upon n1, right? Or you can write another way that the ratio of the diameter to the speed of the same gear, ratio of the diameter to the speed of the same gear, always constant for all the gears which are meshed in the simple gear train, right? Means the diameter to the speed ratio, it's a d1 by n1. The ratio is always constant for the all gears, so d1 by n1 is equal to d2 upon n2 is equal to d3 upon n3. number of gears which are interconnected or which are meshed in the simple gear train. So the ratio of the diameter to the speed is written as n1 upon n2 is the speed ratio, right? Speed ratio is the n1 upon n2 is equal to d2 upon d1, or you can also write that t2 upon t1, which are the teeth ratio, which are the teeth ratio. And you can get the train value, the ratio of the speed of driven to or follower to the speed of the driver is known as the train value, which is also same n2 upon n1 is equal to t1 upon t2. So the speed ratio and train value both are opposite to, the value is the opposite to each other. Now, when the distance between two gear is large and we need the constant velocity ratio, the motion from one gear to another in such a case may be transmitted by either of following two methods. First is the by providing larger sized gear, or you can use the by providing one or more intermediate gears. The first method is very inconvenient and uneconomical method, right? Whereas the later method is very convenient and economical. Why? Because the method which is by providing the large sized gear is inconvenience, because it required more size or more heavier. By providing the large size gear required more size, so it will the gear train will which become heavier, right? So it's a inconvenient. Also also it is a uneconomical, because it cost more, right? Means the high costing is estimate to construct a high sized gear, right? Now, intermediate gears are called as the ideal gears as they do not affect the speed ratio or train value of the system, right? Why it is not in why it is not affect to the train value or the speed ratio? Because the speed ratio, if you are evaluate the speed ratio of the gear train, or you evaluate the train value of this gear train, then you have to take the initial speed of the driver gear to the last speed of the last driven gear. If you have four gears in the simple gear train, then you have to take the n1 of the driver gear and you have to take the last rotational speed n4. Then the ratio of the n4 to n1 is called as the speed ratio, and the n1 upon n4 is taken as the train value. To connect the gears where large center distance is required and to obtain the desired direction of motion of the driven gear, either it's a clockwise or anti-clockwise. When the number of intermediate gears are odd, the motion of both gears is like same, right? Means if the intermediate gears number of the intermediate gears are odd, like a 1 3 5 7, then the motion of the first driver gear and the motion which is transmitted to the last shaft or last gears are in the same direction. If it's a clockwise direction of the driver gear, then the direction, rotational direction of the last driven gear is also a clockwise direction. But if the number of the intermediate gears are even, the motion of the driver and or follower will be opposite direction of the driver gear, right? Now, here the simple gear train is provided having four gears are used, where the n1 is the speed of the driver gear, n2 is the speed of the intermediate gear in the rpm, n3 is the speed of the driven or follower in rpm, right? So same as the t1 t2 and t3 is taken, right? Now the n2 is the speed of the intermediate gear of the gear number 2 and gear number 3. Why? Because the diameter of the both gear are same, and the number of teeth are same on the both gear number 2 and gear number 3, so it is taken as the T2. Now, since the driven gear 1 is matched with the intermediate gear 2, so it is taken as the ratio of n1 upon n2 is equal to T2 upon T1, and the intermediate gear number 2 is matched with the intermediate gear 3, so it is taken as the n2 upon n3 is equal to T3 upon T2. But here remember thing, n2 is equal to n3 and t3 is equal to t1, so the ratio is going to be unit, right? So we have directly taken as the intermediate gear is directly matched with the driven gear, so we can take the n3 for the driven, or you can say it's the follower. So n2 upon n3 is equal to t3 upon t2. Now the speed ratio of the gear train is taken as the multiplication of the both ratio, n1 upon n2 multiply with n2 upon n3 is equal to t2 upon t1 into t3 upon t2, right? Where n2 n2 is cancelled and t2 t2 is cancelled, so we can write as the ratio, speed ratio is n1 upon n3 is equal to t3 upon t1, and the train value n3 upon n1 is equal to t1 upon t2, right? Now, the speed ratio of the simple gear train is written as the speed ratio is equal to speed of the driver divided by speed of driven, eliminating the intermediate gears. We are not taking the velocity and teeth or velocity and diameter of the intermediate gear to calculate the speed ratio and train value, right? So directly we are taking the speed and the diameter and the teeth for the driven and driver. So the speed ratio is the speed of the driver to speed of driven is equal to number of teeth on the driver to the number of teeth on driver. As well as we can calculate the train value as the speed of driven to the speed of driver is equal to number of teeth on driver to the number of teeth on driven. Now, compound gear train. When when there are more than one gears on a shaft, more than one gear on a shaft, then the gear train is called as the compound gear train, right? Or the definition can be changed as when the axis of the shaft on which the gears are mounted is not parallel or no, sorry, it's parallel but not in coincide, right? This shaft, different shafts, the axis of the different shaft on which the different gears are mounted is parallel but not a coincide, then the gear train is called as the compound gear train. And the speed ratio of the compound gear train is written also the speed of the driver gear train, speed of the driver gear to the speed of driven gear, and speed of the intermediate speed of the gear is eliminated. But here the teeth on the intermediate gear are not going to be eliminated. Why? Because the diameter of the intermediate gear are always the different, so the number of teeth on the intermediate gears are not equal. So the speed ratio as written as for the compound gear train is n1 upon n2 multiply with n3 upon n4 multiply with n5 upon n6 equal to t2 upon t1 multiply with t4 upon t3 multiply with t6 upon t5. Let's see here in the figure, gear number 2 and 3 are on the same shaft, right? Gear number 2 and gear number 3 are on same shaft, so the revolutionary speed for the gear number 2 and gear number 3 are equal, so n2 is equal to n3. Same intermediate gears, gear number 4 and gear number 5 are on same shaft, so the revolutionary speeds are same for the gear number 4 and gear number 5. So in this equation n2 is equal to n3 and n4 is equal to n5, so n2 n3 cancel, n4 n5 cancel, so we have the n1 upon n6 is equal to t3 t2 multiplied with t4 multiplied with t6 divided by t1 multiplied with t3 multiplied with t5. as in the figure, see here, T2 is driven by the driver. T2 is driven by the driver, but T3 is driven by T2. So if we take just the intermediate gear T2 and T3, or the intermediate gears number 2 and gear number 3, so the gear number 2 is convert as a driver and gear number 3 is converted as a driven, right? Same for the T4 and same for the gear number 4 and 5 and gear number 6. So gear number 2, 4 and 6 are the driven gears. Gear number 2, gear number 4 and gear number 6 are the driven gears, and T1 one gear, gear number 1, gear number 3 and gear number 5 are the driver gears. So we can put the equation as the driver gear speed of the driver gear to the speed of the driven gear, or the speed of the first gear to the speed of the last gear, is equal to the number of teeth, multiplication of number of teeth of the all driven gears to the multiplication of number of teeth to the driver gears, right? This is the speed ratio for the compound gear teeth, as the speed ratio is equal to speed of the first driver divided by speed of the last driven, as we discussed, is equal to product of the number of teeth on the drivens divided by product of the number of teeth on the drivers, as we discussed, right? And train value is the opposite. Speed of the last driven or follower to the speed of the first driver is equal to product of the number of teeth on the drivers to the product of number of teeth on the driven, right? So that's it. Next types of gear train is studied by us in our next lecture.